Right. So welcome everyone. This is our strength and conditioning class. So this is Monday, the 27th of October. So almost into November by the end of the week. So today's class, we'll go ahead and do a full body strength workout, yoga mat, dumbbells. We'll try to do some different movements that we didn't do last week. And as far as my Wednesday class, if you're in that Wednesday class, then yeah, we'll meet at the regular time, which is at 9 a.m. So let's go ahead and start with the warm up. So let's just start by looking left to right, right here. Get a full, nice stretch, breathing gently with each rotation of your neck. Let's go up and down. Morning, Lynn.
Good morning.
Circles. So gentle neck circles. And when you get a chance, give me an emoji thumbs up if you did another workout besides Monday and Tuesday last week. So, some of you went on walks. I see Kathleen. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Good, Jen. Switch. Good. Good job, Debbie. Jan. I did between Thursday evening and Saturday morning. So yeah, so I guess in a span of about 18 hours, I managed to squeeze in let's see our snow angels, 20 miles. On on Thursday I ran 5. And then Thursday evening I ran 5. Pretty mellow, comfortable pace. And then I have a Garmin watch and it suggests and recommends workouts. So I usually never do those, but Friday morning I was like, oh, what the heck? I'll try it. So I did a 7 mile run on Friday morning. And then on Saturday morning, I did an 8 mile run. So I got 20 miles in, like I said, a little bit over, uh, not 18 hours, like 36 hours or so. Is there one single arm press? So just reach towards the ceiling. So yeah, so got a good amount, and I definitely felt it yesterday. Well, I felt it Saturday evening. My legs felt like blocks of cement. So I'm gonna try to aim to hit somewhere between 25 and 30 miles this week. But morning, Doris, this newer. I have noticed though that I haven't been as disciplined with my lower leg exercises now that I've noticed that the pain subsided or gone away. But I should get back on those before the pain comes back because that's usually what happens. So let's do trunk rotation. So let's just start gentle, left to right. Very turn, try to get a little bit more twist going on there. Let's do ab circles. Just hinging up the hips, keeping the back straight. Right, big hula hoops. Big giant hula hoops. Switch. Just exaggerate how far out you bring the hips. Okay, Lisa and Karina. Got a good amount of people right now. More than half of the classes here today. It's great. Let's do our hip openers. So just knee up, out, down, then up, and down. So about 4 on each leg. Switch. And one more. Very good. Okay, last, 2 more. Hamstring stretch. So grab a hold of your ankles, come down here, and bring your hips up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down. All right, last one. Let's get down in the sumo squat stretch. So wide stance, drop your hips down, shoulders up, and then just try to come as low as you can. I don't think I got this low until maybe the end of my second term teaching these classes. I was always a bit elevated. Right? Very good. All right, so let's gather that equipment and then I'll go over what the workout's going to be. Okay. Alrighty. So for today's session, I'm going to go through some movements that we didn't get to last week. And then also, when we are done with those movements, I do want to work on a few sets of the movements that we'll be testing on that we did during our baseline. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So have some water nearby as well. And then okay. So our first set is going to be our dumbbell Harlequin lateral raise. So with your dumbbells, you're going to have your dumbbells here. You're going to do a curl, hammer curl, lift those elbows up, and then extend those elbows, and then come back down. Okay, that's our first movement, working on biceps, shoulders, and back. Then we have our dumbbell goblet lateral lunge. That's for goblet. Anytime you hear me say goblet, we're just holding the dumbbell here. Lateral means to your sides. And we're going to do a step and drop your glutes down, reset, step, and drop your glutes. Okay, so we're working on our glutes for that. Third movement, dumbbell tricep kickback. Hinge at your hips, back is nice and straight. Elbows come here, and then you just extend. Okay. If for some reason that's a bit challenging or it irritates your back, you can always grab the dumbbells and just go extend here. My only concern with that is make sure the dumbbells aren't too close to your neck. If having a dumbbell in each hand is too much, then just share the weight with both hands with one dumbbell. And then we'll transition to the floor to do a side plank, okay? Because planks are some of our, one of our testing. So, great. So let's go ahead and begin with our lateral raises, our dumbbell Poliquin lateral raises. We're gonna aim for 10 of these. Okay. So if we're ready, let's go ahead and begin. So hammer curl, elevate, extend, down. That's one. Two. Curl. Morning, Nella. Hi, Carmen. Three. You're doing Poliquin lateral raises right now. 6. If you need to take a little break, take it. Or if you need to stop at 8, that's fine too. So let's try to push ourselves a little bit. But don't injure yourself pushing yourself, okay? Very good. All right. Awesome. Okay. Take a little break. We have our goblet lateral lunges. Okay. So again, remember that one, you have a dumbbell here. We're stepping to the side and then just drop your hips. Okay, if we can't go as low, just try to give that good effort and come as low as you can. Then we're gonna reset, step to the other side and drop. Okay, we're gonna be doing, for this one, we have a total of 12 to 16, which means either 6 on each leg or 8 on each leg. Okay, so try to push yourselves. If you're feeling, give me the 16. If we're feeling like we're redlining at some point, then let's go with at least 10. Okay. So I'm here. And remember, give yourself enough space, step wide, and then drop your hips down. Come back, reset, and the other side. That's one. Working out your thighs, your glutes, and you want to keep your torso upright too, okay? So I'm trying to avoid any leaning like this. I want to keep that goblet, that dumbbell upright. 3. I'll probably just go with 6 and 6 for this one, just to start off the week. Not too taxing. 5. 5. 6. 6. In between lifts, you do want to take a little bit of rest, so catch your breath, about 30 to 40 seconds. Remember, the tricep kickbacks for our triceps, you can do those standing up, sitting down. You could do a table assisted where you're holding on and doing one arm at a time. Or if you just want to do what we had planned, just bend over, but your posture has to be great for that one. Okay. So. All right. For the dumbbell kickbacks, we do want to do a total of 12 to 15. There's not too many exercises for our triceps. That's why we want to get closer to 15 if we can. Okay, so hinge at your hips, back is straight, elbows to your side, and extend. Halfway through, I'll switch into the other variation. But if you got this one, then just keep going until 12 to 15. So again, for those that can't do that one or choose not to, just come over. And then I'll kind of kneel here. Just here. And extend. Good. This is where we grab our yoga mats because we will be on the floor. So we have our side planks. Side planks, we're gonna aim for at least 40 seconds on each side. We won't be doing regular planks today, but if you want to, you could switch this one for your regular plank. And I know some of you are using a table or a wall for an elevated plank, so you could do that too, okay? But I wouldn't recommend the elevated plank for a side variation, okay? So if you need assistance, just focus on the elevated regular plank. All right, here's my stopwatch. Okay, 40 seconds. If you're doing a side plank, I'm going to start off with my left side first. And remember, that's just your elbow and your ankles. And if you need a little bit of support, you could use your knees too. 3, 2, 1, up. We're at 25 seconds. Good job. 30 seconds. 35. 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. We'll give you about 30 seconds to transition. We'll switch to the other side. Okay. We'll start in about 15 seconds. So if you're doing the elevated, just do a second set. Or if you're doing planks, just do a second set of planks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. And your elbow and your ankle, or you could drop down your knee, but the weight from your torso to your thighs should be elevated. We're 20 seconds in. We have 10 more seconds, and then we have about a 2-minute break or 90-second rest. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay. Give yourself about a minute, grab some water, catch your breath. We're gonna go back to the polypin lateral raise, okay? Let me check the chat. That I saw a message. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. I think you did your video. I'll definitely watch it after. Thank you. Oof. Just feeling those lateral lunges already. Okay, we got about 30 seconds left, and then we'll start. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our lateral raises, okay? So, ready? And begin. So, curl, extend. There we go. Curl, up, extend, curl. Six, seven, and 8. We're doing 10. 9, 10. Awesome. Very good. Our lateral lunges are next. We have 30 seconds rest in between movements. Great. Thank you, Carmen. Yeah, if you haven't done the baseline yet, please complete the baseline testing. It's one of the first videos up there. It says baseline. And then send me your results so I could add you into the spreadsheet. I think most of you have, but I know there's a few missing. All right, lateral lunges. Okay. Here we go. Grab your dumbbells. Ready? Here we go. So step right, drop, step left, drop, repeat. Two, three, three, four, four, five, five, six, six, seven, seven, 8, and 8. Ooh. Yeah, those glutes, your legs, don't be shocked if you're sore later. Okay, 30 seconds. I'm gonna do the seated overhead tricep extension for this one, just so I can show the variation. But you could also do this on tricep kickbacks. I just know for the kickbacks, if you're standing and you don't have good form, you could put yourself at risk. Okay, so only do those if you're confident in your form. Okay, so again, you're doing seated. We're here, and 12 to 15. Ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good. All right, we did our 2 sets of planks already. So give yourself another about minute. We'll go with 1 minute since we only did a few movements on this one. And I'll go over the next exercises. All right, so we have dumbbell underhand front raises. So exactly what it sounds like. So underhand, palms, you're holding the dumbbells, palms are facing the screen. This is gonna work on your shoulders and your chest. You're gonna go from wide to inside here. So yeah, good practice, Jen. So yeah, so if you're not familiar with it, just give it on yourself a try without any weight. That's gonna activate your front deltoids with your tris your pectoralis major, which is your chest. And then we're gonna go and work on our balance. So this is gonna be our variations of our chair squats. Okay, so we're either doing these or we're doing extended or elevated. Okay, so just remember there's different variations for that. That's going to be our second movement. And then the next movement is a full body movement, and it could also be considered a cardio movement. This is a dumbbell thruster. If you've been with me, you know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be biceps, quads, back, and shoulder. Okay, so you're going to grab your dumbbells here, come down, extend your arms too. And then on your way up, close your arms, rotate and press. Okay, so you might want to practice that one with some, you know, um, just the form in general, before we commit to it. Okay. All right, so that's a minute there. Let's go ahead and grab our dumbbells for our dumbbell front raises. We're doing 10 to 12 of these. And these, when you come up, you're just going the same height as your shoulders. All right, here we go. Ready? Start wide and you come close. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Share your breathing. 11, 12. Breathe that down. Our chair squats. We're gonna do a total of 10, 10 to 12. So if you're doing just the chair squats, just give me 12 of these. Okay. And if we're not, then just remember, we could work on one leg. The more you extend it out, the more challenging it's going to be. And if you completely elevate it, that's going to be as hard as you can make it, unless you grab a dumbbell and make it more challenging. So, okay. Since we haven't really done squats, what I would recommend for everyone is just doing the regular chair squats here. Okay. Maybe for our second round, we could try the variation. All right. So 10 to 12. So ready and up. And again, try to engage on your legs. We don't want to depend so much on our rolling our torso forward. We want to rely on stabbing our heels into the floor and really pushing through our shins, through our knees, to our hips. Seven, 8, 9, 12. 11, 12. Very good. All right, give yourself some rest because these thrusters will get you. I wouldn't say they're as taxing as burpees, but they will get your heart rate up a little bit. Okay. Dumbbell front raises. Down. All right, thrusters. So before we start, just give me one that I know that you could trust the form. So again, feet are close together, dumbbells are here. You're gonna squat down. On your way down, your arms come down too. And on the way up, your arms come back up, but then you rotate and then you press. Okay? So that's the dumbbell thruster. So You're gonna go aim for anywhere between 8 to 12 of those. Okay. There we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go. 1. And go at your own pace. Don't think you have to keep up with me. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. This set's only 3 movements, so we're gonna go with let me catch my breath. We'll go with 1 minute rest. Okay, so catch your breath. If we need more, give me a thumbs up. Just keep it going. Just catch your breath. We're gonna do that whole set another time. And we still have about 45 seconds to go. I did do something I wasn't expecting on Thursday. So went to our run club, and then I tried to catch up with my family for dinner, and they were at Costco, and they had just grabbed a couple slices for themselves. And then I was like, hey, I'll join you. So I I got asked how many slices do I want. And I said 1 or 2, I'm fine with. So it made more sense to just end up buying the whole pizza, just price wise. It was gonna be like $1 more for like 5 more slices. So yeah, so did the exchange for the full pizza instead. And instead of me eating 1 or 2 slices, I think I had 4 or 5 because they were available. Yeah. So lesson learned. If you're committing to some food, just you're better off. Yeah, because then I had the leftover slices of pizza too for breakfast. That was my breakfast yesterday, and I was still in my birthday mood. So yeah, so I didn't feel too guilty, but yeah. So just so you know, what things could little things could change your plans. All right, let's go with our second set of dumbbell underhand front raises. All right, let's go ahead. 3, 2, 1, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go for 12, 11. Cool. Awesome. Good.
I had one of those weekends and it wasn't even my birthday.
How did it go for you, Kathleen?
It went like this. We had a Hollow Fest at our church, had some Filipino food with wine on Saturday, and I said it was so good. Let's do that again Sunday.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. It's I'm encouraging my family that was over yesterday. I was like, let's not do Porto's fruit tarts anymore. Let's just start doing baklavas for cakes moving forward. So let's go ahead. Now, if you are testing your baseline with the legs elevated or extended, then this is your opportunity to get stronger with that movement. So I'm gonna go elevated. But remember, you could do this one that we just did on the first set, or you could just kind of develop some strength and you can start moving that heel a little bit forward. So, all right, we're gonna do this. Give me 12 total if you're doing the standing squats. And if you're doing single leg, give me 6 to 8 on each leg. Okay, ready and begin. Whoa, 1. Maybe I gained some pounds because my ankles aren't used to it. Maybe extra weight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch. 1, 2. Yeah, I'm trying to work on our balance right now. 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Work. All right, our thrusters are next. We have our thrusters. Give yourself a little bit of time. You'll be well rested. Oh, and if you didn't get the alert, we're supposed to have a little heat advisory tomorrow and Wednesday. I believe from like Santa Barbara into like San Diego. It's supposed to be, I think, mid to high 80s tomorrow and then low 90s on Wednesday. So I know, I thought it was fall. I thought we were done with summer, but Santa Ana winds. All right, here we go. Thrusters. So make sure you hydrate. Feet close together. Ready? There we go. And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those scare me sometimes. All right, we have our 90-second rest. Okay, we're gonna go into, oh, this next set's pretty easy. Okay, so after this set, we'll start with, we'll add some push-ups. We will add, what was our baseline again? We have push-ups. We could do a wall sit. We did our chairs to squats. And then we could finish off with some jumping jacks, okay? So, or side step jacks. So this next set that we're gonna start on, it's pretty easy, not too aggressive. We're gonna go with dumbbell standing calf raises. So just dumbbells at your side, you're standing and you're bringing your heels up and then down, okay? And down. So one that I'm doing on specifically for my calves that have been becoming really annoyingly tight, and it just happens randomly. It's a new variation. So let me see if I could adjust the camera. I'll just bring it to the floor. So this one, it's setting. I would be standing. So I'm standing here, but the difference is I'm gonna kneel forward. So I'm supporting this chair right here, or this table that's supporting me. So I'm leaning towards it, knees bent, and then I get here, and then that's gonna add a little bit more stress on the calf, which is going to make it stronger. So if you have a wall nearby, you could always just lean into that wall, bend your knees a little bit, and then just kind of do that motion. And again, I know sometimes the regular standing calf raises could seem like they're not doing much, so that bending your knees and doing that will activate them a little bit more. So you could do that version. And then our second movement is going to be our shoulder shrugs. Dumbbells at your side, shoulders come up towards the ears, and then drop them down as far low as you can. So calves and shoulders is our next movement. Okay. Let's incorporate some bicep curls too, because we only did those for our polyp and lateral raises. So we'll do those 3 exercises. All right, ready? I'm gonna do my bent knee here. All right, so we're doing 15 calf raises. You could have dumbbells here, or you could do the ones that I'm doing, okay? Ready? And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oops. Yeah, those bent knee ones feels like a little bit more, like you're doing a little bit more with those.
It's deceivingly fatiguing.
Right? Yeah. Especially if you're not using the support too much and it's just for balance. Yeah. So that's one of the, I think I have 4 or 5 different exercises that I do, but that's one of my top 2 that I do for my tight calves to make them stronger. So if you have tight calves, do those. Help me. All right, shoulder shrugs. Okay. So I'll give 2 options. So you could do these that are a little bit more on the easier side. Shoulder shrugs. If you feel like you want to do a little bit more, then you could just do some shoulder presses. Okay, but up to you. I'm gonna go with the shoulder shrugs right now. Ready? So dumbbells at your side. We're gonna do 15. Ready? Begin. So shoulders up and then all the way down. Again, the shrugging comes the effort there, but then on the way down comes a real nice long stretch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right. Put those weights down. Next, we're going to go with our regular dumbbell curls. So yeah, yesterday when family were over, I like camping. So I brought up the idea of going camping in December and no one was up for it. So there it's just too cold, I guess. So I was mentioning Montaña de Oro out there by San Luis Obispo. They said it's gonna be too cold. And then also Kern River, but I don't know. Has anyone camped out there in the winter or fall? Kern River. Let's go with our bicep curls here. So just palms are facing the screen. And we're just gonna go ahead and curl them up to your shoulder. Make sure you fully extend. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Very good. Okay, so now find me a clear wall. We're gonna be doing our wall sits. So remember, this is one of our baseline exercises. So wall here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. So once you found your wall, let's get settled in and let's go and begin. So I'm gonna aim for 30 to 40 seconds right now. We're at 10 seconds. So remember, if you feel like you're gonna slip or fall, please try to get yourself to just stand and be in a safe position. 20 seconds. All right, we're at 30. Legs are shaking a little bit. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. All right.
Woo.
Get yourself up. 90-second rest. One. I'm going to repeat that set. So we have one more set of these. What we just did are calf raises, shrugs, curls, and wall sits. And then we'll finish, like I said, with a set of jumping jacks. All right. Calf raises. I'm going to use my chair here. Ready? So 15. Remember, you can do the ones I'm doing or with dumbbells, just standing. Ready? And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We got our shoulder shrugs. All right, here we go. Got 15 of these. Ready? And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right. Good. We're gonna go into our bicep curls right now. Okay. All right. Remember, if you ever have to leave early, feel free, don't feel obligated, but yeah, feel like when everyone sticks around. So bicep curls, remember, always come all the way down. Ready, begin. So give me 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here we go. All right. A couple more, then we'll be on our way. We have our second round of calf raise of Lawson's. Okay, so remember 30 or 40 seconds. That's what we want to aim for. We'll start in 15 seconds. So give yourself space. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 10 seconds. Twenty seconds. We're at 30 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, very good. And our last one, we'll probably get our heart rate up going. I'll go with the side step jacks, but remember, depending on what you picked for your baseline testing, that's what we want to try and practice right now. Okay, so if it was jumping jacks or if it was side step jack, let's stick to one of those. Okay, so we're gonna do that for a duration of 1 minute. So if you need to stop and take a little break after 20 seconds, after 30 seconds, that's fine. But let's try to get as many as we can in the 60 seconds. All right, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is the side step jack. And I know some of you are doing jumping jacks. Okay. 25 seconds in. Come on, Josefina. Get it going. At 40 seconds. 20 more seconds. 50 seconds. Slowing down over here. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Woo. Good job. High fives, everyone. Good job, Lynn. Oh, let's cool down a little bit. Grab a chair. Have a seat. Grab some water.
I have a question, Julio, for the side step. Every time your feet touch the floor, you count it for one, or you have to do right and left and count it for one.
I think as long as you whatever you did on the baseline, if you do that for like the regular one, I think yeah, because each one's a challenge. So but yeah, it just depends really on your individual count. So
Okay.
I think as long as we're consistent, then we should be fine with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and work on our trunk. So grab a hold of the chair and just gently turn, stretch. Switch. Right, let's go ahead and bring our left ankle onto our right knee. So yeah, so just be mindful with the weather. So even for a stretching class on Wednesday morning, that might be a little warm. But just start hydrating now. So your legs, your body feels relaxed and you don't feel too stiff. Push down gently on that knee. Bring that knee up. And switch. Right ankle on that left knee. Gentle push down on that right knee. Bring that knee up. And relax. Hopefully your heart rate has come down a little bit. But yeah, but any questions before we head out this morning? Appreciate great attendance. We had a lot of folks show up today. Hey Ella, how are you? Carmen, welcome back. Your hair looks great, Carmen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julio.
Okay.
My hip
I
flexor
have
still.
made technical
Hip
problems with my internet.
Okay.
Oh, I had trouble too.
You
Daniel?
too?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Yeah, I was
Oh.
late already and then I couldn't get on.
Huh.
Huh.
Then it was not.
Debbie,
I
you
had
too?
trouble. Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
Then it was not my computer or my internet. It was probably the system over there, the canvas.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see. Did anyone else have issues? I know there's 3 of you, 4, Lynn.
Oh,
I did too.
I
It
mean,
said that my
quite a
internet was,
few.
but it was. And I
Okay.
had to go back out and come back in a couple times. That's
Oh,
why I was
wow.
2 minutes late.
Okay.
I did.
All right. I'll fix the tardy on the report. You guys
Good.
are late. I'm just kidding. No, I don't do all that. Okay. Well, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But yeah, I'll see you Wednesday, all. And thanks for
Wednesday.
sharing. I'll
Have a
see
good
you.
week.
All
Gracias,
right.
Julio.
My
Gracias.
hip,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
my
Thank
hip
you, Ms.
flexor.
Ramley.
I have a question.
What's that, Lynn?
I have a question.
Oh, sure, Lynn. What was that?
My hip flexor in the front is tight.
on my right leg. I've been trying to stretch it, like, do kind of, like that.
Yeah,
But
that's good. Yeah.
it's really tight. I can hardly get my leg up, like,
Yeah, it's gonna, yeah, I've been dealing with tight hip flexors. Sometimes what helps for me, it's a weird setup, but
I-
I have a resistance band that I
Okay.
loop around my hip, and then it's also wrapped around like a rigid item. So the idea behind it is that it might be pinching, like, well, this is for me. I don't know situation for you, but mine's might be pinching like a nerve or a tendon. So
Okay.
the band is it's like a rubber band that's pulling this way, and it's trying to like just let that nerve like breathe a little. But yeah, but it
But when
comes
you like, tie it, I have a band I could put around my table leg because it's
yeah,
sturdy.
yeah.
So
Just
then
make
what
sure.
do you stretch out your leg or what do you
Yeah,
do?
so I can show you. So
I did clams last night and I did
so like this
Oh,
machine
I
can
did.
go anywhere, but so what I would do is you see this band? So
uh-huh,
I would put my leg through it
uh-huh.
and kind of here. So the
Yeah.
band pulling that way, so I want to go away from it. So there's like
Yeah.
some tension. So I just kind of
Okay.
like lean.
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
try that.
so doing that, but some of the stretches that we do on the Wednesday class could help too. But
Yeah.
you could try like, just like the hip openers that we do here, like
I did
that
the
doesn't
class.
collapse.
I did the Tuesday class last night. And
Okay.
I did that like you have it laying down. I
Oh
think
yeah.
did that. But I did mine sitting in a chair and I can,
Right.
Yeah,
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 you could find
that-
variations. All
okay.
right. Well, I
I
hope
don't
that
want to
gets
keep
better.
you.
Yeah, keep me posted. Maybe we
Thank
could
you.
focus on that on Wednesday a little bit. All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. I'm gonna click on that link right now. Thank you.
Okay.